In our last lesson, we talked about DDL, data definition language, and in DDL, we said we have three commands, which is create, alter, and drop.
Drop.
So in this lesson, we're going to be talking about DML, which is short for data manipulation language. And in this lesson, we're going to be talking about three commands also, which is insert, update, and delete. So data manipulation language is consists of commands that handle the maintenance and the functions of an instance that has been created, like a table, a function, a stored procedure, and what have you. So this means that you can manipulate the data that you have in your relational database, and these commands can be used to insert or enter a data. It can also be used to edit or alter the data. It can also be used to remove your data. So basically, they do three things that DDL does. Just that from the DDL level is the top level, while DML is the data or the entry level. So the first we are going to take a look at is the insert command. The insert command allows you to insert new value or values into a particular table. So to do this now, we are going to use the keyword insert into and the name of the table. Then you use values irrespective of the value that you want to add in, whether it's one or multiple. So if it's multiple, you separate the values by comma. If it's just one, you end it with a semicolon. So you put insert value, you put the insert into the table name, the value, and you end it with a semicolon. So let's go ahead and add values to the tables that we've created. So at the moment we created a database. We named it book details, and we have two tables in there, which is author and books. So right now we have, just going to read the table. Okay, I have everything here already. Just going to run this table. So here we have ID, author name, and the email. And for the books, we have the title, the year of production, the number of pages, and the author ID. So before we can populate the book table, we need to have an author that already exists in the author table. So let's populate the author table first. So to populate this table, we use insert into, and then the name of the table that we want to populate, which is author, and then the columns that we want to add value into. So we have, for the author, we have ID, author name, and email. But this ID has an identity 1, which means that the first value that we put in there will take in the serial number of 1. So we don't have to manually type the identity number. So we're going to then put the author name and the email address. So we're going to say author name and then the email. So then we put in the values that we want to add. So the values I want to add will be, I'm just going to put in some random listing there. I'm just going to say Will Smith or something. And then I'm going to say Will S at gmail.com. I'm going to add a couple of other ones there also. I'm going to say Thamas. I'm going to say CD. I'm going to end this here and highlight this, and I'm going to run it. So executing queries at this, and then the number of rows affected 2 rows. So that means that we have inserted 2 rows into the table. So let's just read the table now. Select everything from author, and voila, I have ID 1 Will Smith, ID 2 Thomas Starr. So I could populate this, I could add more values there. I'm just going to change this values here. I'm gonna say some let's say so 2 rows also affected. So let's see. So now I have 4 records in this table: Will, Thomas, Toby, and Ryland. So I have my author table populated. So let's go ahead and populate the book table. So the same way I populated this, I'm going to say insert into, and then the name, which is books, and then the column I want to insert. For this, I have title, year of production, pages, author ID. I'm going to say title, year of production, what else, pages, what else do I have, then the author ID. It doesn't have to follow suit. I can switch this. I can put the author last and put the author, I could put the title last and then the author ID first. But it is important that you insert the value the same way that you have declared it here. So now I have author ID coming first, so which means that my value has to be author ID coming first also. So values, my author ID 1, just gonna say the title is the beginning, and then the year of production is 2001, number of pages is 300. Okay, I'm gonna add another one. I'm gonna say still maybe author 2. I'm gonna say The Lost Sheep. So it's written in 2010 and has 570 pages. One more again, I'm gonna say from author 1. Author 1 wrote The Last of Us. I'm gonna say this was written in 2014 and has about 450 pages. So if I run this now, okay, the year of production, I need to put this in compatible distance. So my date format should be year, month, and day. So I'm gonna say year, month, and day. Okay, let's do that. So 3 rows are affected. So let's run this now and see. So we have 3 records here: the beginning, the lost sheet, the last of us, and the dates, the pages, and every other thing associated with it. So you can see now that the order of inserts really did not matter, because the first table that was defined in the first column that was defined in our table is tied to year of production, author pages, and author ID. But then the way we inserted it, we collected the author ID first, the title, the year of production, and the pages. But then on the table side, it was aligned according to the way that it was matched with the column in the right space. So now we have inserted values inside the table books and author. So let's try to update each of this table, or let's try to update some of the values that we have in this table. So now let's just say that, okay, fine, I think there's an error in the books table. The Last of Us was not produced in the year 2014. It was produced in the year 2013, and we need to update that data. So now to update that data, I would say we use the update keyword. We say update. The name of the table that we want to update is books, and then the column that we want to update. So update this now, I could say update books, and then the name of the column is the name of the column, I'll say set this year of production equal to let's say 2013 0314. But if I run this now, this is going to work, just that it's going to replace all the year of production to now be 2013. Now let me show you what that means. Now if I run this now, 3 rows were affected, but that is not what I want. Let me show you. Books. So now you see that all the dates, all the year of production has been updated to 2003, 2013, 3, 14. But the only row I wanted to update is this last one, The Last of Us. So how do I do that? I need to write a condition that only satisfies this last value here. So what I'm going to do is that now I've messed up my data. I could either just delete everything and reinsert that, or just fix that. So that means I'll have to fix each of this one at a time. So now there's no way I can undo this. This is not Excel, nor is it Word. So I'll have to undo this manually. So now what I want to do is to change just one of this. So if I run this guy again, it's going to work. Just I'm now going to have duplicate data. So now I have duplicates. The first 3 that I put in there, which was updated to this, and then now I'm inserting a new batch. So what I want to do is to update The Last of Us to now be 2013 0314. So I need to write a condition that says where my title or my ID is 1. Now if I say where my title or ID, if I say where my ID is 1, then the beginning and The Last of Us will now be 2013. But if I use The Last of Us, then it is only going to go and locate the title that has The Last of Us. So if I say where the title is equal The Last of Us. Okay, if I run this now, 2 rows affected, right? Because now I have duplicates of those entries. So 2 rows were affected. So now I'm going to have The Last of Us here. Now 2013, and then The Last of Us here. Now 2013. Okay, so always ensure that when you are using the update keyword that you write in a condition that only satisfies the record that you want to update. Otherwise, you are going to mess up your data. Now, if I want to correct these other ones that I've put in here, I'll have to delete these records. So how do I delete them? So I'm going to say the same way I updated my value, I need to also be careful of values or records that I delete, because there's no undo for that part. So if I say delete now, I'm going to say delete books, and I'm going to say where the date, because this date is what is causing the issue, right? So if I say delete this, now if I say delete this where this day is this, it's going to remove 4 records instead of 3. I hope you know that.
Yes, I know.
Because 2013, and that's not what I want. So if the other way I could do this is either I manually type each of this title and then I back it up with the date, or if I delete this using the date, then it's going to remove even the last sheet that I do, this last record I don't want to remove. So I could say delete books where title is last sheep, The Last of Us, and the date and the year of production is equal to this guy here. So even with this, it's still going to delete this last one because this is a duplicate entry. So I'm just going to use this criteria instead, unless I want to update this. So I'm just going to use this. So this is going to remove 4 entries now. Can you see that? So if I now want to reinsert The Last of Us, which is this, then I can reinsert it again and then update. So it's important that when you want to use update and delete, you have double checked that the values that you want to update and the values that you want to delete, they are values that you actually want to, and the conditions that you are using is explicit to those values. Because if the condition is generic, then it's going to delete all records associated with that particular column or that particular condition. Okay,
Okay.
so you can then of course come here and see, you can see where condition, so you can write in more than one condition if you feel like there are some of these tables or some of these records satisfy more than, you need more than one condition. Like when I wanted to delete the last of Us, I had like 2 records being Last of Us, and I still had like I had duplicate entries of those records. So be sure that you want to, the record that you want to delete, because there is no undo button for that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So do you have any question?
Yeah, so if want to add the Last of Us now, like the old, the old data for the Last of Us, is it update we will use for it?
So now if I want to remove this now, if I want to add this back, right?
Uh,
I will just insert it back like this. I want to use this, I'm just going to insert it. You can see
Okay,
now
ma.
I've added it again. It's now there, and if I want to update it again, I'm just going to use this now.
Okay, ma.
One record has been updated. If I run this now, I have that value there.
Okay, ma.
Okay,
Yes, ma.
any question?
Mm,
Okay, so I'm going to have you go try this out on your own and also try to explore other ways you can get this done. So try to populate your table. You can add in as many records as you like. So we'll pick it up there in our next class.
okay, ma.
All right.
But you